Today we're gonna over the top 10 best locations to hunt on the Hunter of the Wild. These spots are in my opinion the best places to hunt diamonds on the entire game, mainly because these are spots with a higher concentration of animals. I mean, they simply have more animals than usual, so you have a higher chance of getting a diamond on these spots. Also, this top is in no particular order, so I mean it is a top 10, the top 10 best spots, but the list is in no particular order. Okay, the first spot is located on Burong, Savannah, and there is this lake right here. It is an awesome spot to hunt wildebeest, Genspok, and lions. The whole lake is usually loaded, well, depending on the time, because if you come here at the wildebeest drink time, then of course you can expect to see multiple wildebeest herds. Actually, I've counted up to 5 herds on this lake, and you'll find also a lot of Genspok at the Genspok drink time. You'll see multiple groups, and of course lions at the lion drink time. The other day I counted 5 lions and 5 lionesses, which doesn't sound like a lot, but for lions it's a really decent number. And one of the best things about this place is that it is also reliable to find feed zones. You will see a lot of feed zones right here, and also in this area up here. Overall, everything around this lake is great to hunt. The next location is on Parque Fernando, and that is the northeastern coast, all the way down here. This whole area is great to hunt were buffalo, mule deer, cinnamon teal, and even for pumas in some occasions, but it's especially great to hunt were buffalo. And also down here you'll find lots of zones, especially for mule deer. It's overall a really good spot. As I said, you'll find plenty of buffaloes. I mean, if you want a diamond were buffalo, you need to visit this coast. I would say the chance of you having a big buffalo in this area is really high. You'll need to walk a lot, that's true, but I think it's worth it. There are many gangs on this coast, so the chance of finding a big level 9 or even a rare is high. It is definitely one of the best spots on this game. The next spot is located on Silver Ridge Peaks. This lake right here is a great place to hunt diamonds. It is simply great to hunt species like the puma, bighorn, mule deer, mountain goat, and even black bear and Rocky Mountain elk. It is simply an awesome spot. This is one of the places where I've gotten more diamonds in the game, and it's easy to see why. I mean, there are a lot of animals here. As you can see, there is a level 5 goat right there, and well, of all the species that inhabit this area, probably the mountain goat is the one that has a higher presence here. Also, you'll see a lot of deer. I think I've gotten maybe like 3 or 4 diamond bucks of this lake. So anyway, we're gonna shoot this goat with the 308. Let's see. And that's it. He's going down. The only downside of this area is that there are a lot of pumas. Well, you know, they like to spook the animals, so sometimes it's really annoying to come here and you see everything fleeing. That's pretty much the only disadvantage of this lake. Okay, so let's see how big is this guy. It is a 111.4 diamond. Also on Silver Ridge Peaks there's another very popular lake, probably the most famous and overhunted spot on this map, which is this lake. It is great, and I know that almost everyone knows this place, but I had to mention it because you cannot do a top 10 best spots without mentioning this lake. And well, in case you've never been here, it is a sick spot to hunt pronghorn, plains bison, Rocky Mountain elk, also for mule deer, turkeys, and black bear. You will see plenty of animals at any time, and especially if you come here at the pronghorn drink time. At this time you'll find multiple pronghorn herds, maybe some bison, black bear, some gobblers here and there, probably also some bulls and mule deer bucks. Actually, last year here I got a diamond piebald pronghorn, which I don't count as super rare because they were more like an uncommon back then. Still a really cool trophy. It's not easy to identify spots that really stand out on Yukon Valley, but still in my opinion, these 2 lakes up here are one of the best spots to get diamonds on the entire game, especially talking about Grey Wolf. I mean, these 2 lakes produce a high amount of big wolves. There are usually several packs roaming around these lakes, so if you come here at the wolf drink time, you'll see all these packs close to the water. And actually this spot is not only great for Grey Wolf, it is also a really decent location to hunt caribou, moose, and red fox. These lakes are a really good option to hunt these species, as well as the swamps except for grey wolf, but instead you'll find a lot of plains bison. Also on this little lake down here is littered with bison and caribou. I would say all these spots are the best on this map, but I would say the 2 lakes I mentioned first are a better option to get diamonds. Not by a huge margin by any means, but I have had better luck up there, and that's why I decided to include this spot on this top 10. Alright, spot number 6 is located on Burong, Savannah. This is a great spot to hunt cave buffalo, warthog, and kuru, which is this corner down here. It's like a swampy area full of ponds and full of animals too. For some reason all these ponds don't appear on the map, but there are quite a lot here and they work the same as a little lake. Animals drink around these ponds, and if you go uphill you'll find a lot of feed zones and rest zones. As I said, for kuru, warthog, and cave buffalo. And I have a hunch these are the only 3 species that inhabit this area. I mean, I haven't seen jackal nor springbok, maybe a few hares but more towards the mountain, so maybe there's also a small chance to get a diamond yield on this area. For all these species, I also have to mention this north and northeastern coast. I mean, this coast is also loaded with zones, but it's a bigger area, so it requires you to walk more, which takes more time. And to be honest, this spot could also have a place on this top 10, but I'm just gonna add it as an extra. Another amazing spot that I can highly recommend is located on Layton Lake, and that is this part of the eastern coast. This place is just full of animals, also down here actually, but not as much as on this area. Here you can find multiple species starting with Roosevelt elk, also blacktail, whitetail, mallard, even black bear actually, coyote, and of course also whitetail jackrabbit, which is actually the species with the highest presence here. I would say this place is a jackrabbit paradise. Well, actually the whole map is a jackrabbit paradise, but this place is another thing. As you can see, this area is littered with zones, so it's not only good for jackrabbit but also for all the species I mentioned. In fact, it is especially good to find blacktail. An advantage of this spot is that the majority of zones are close to water, and not only drink zones but also feed zones and rest zones. So if you run close to shore, you'll find most of the animals that inhabit this area. That's why I think this place has the upper hand over other really good spots on this map. There are some other really good spots on this map that I feel I have to mention. The first one is this waterway on the center of the map. It's a really good place to hunt species like moose, elk, whitetail. The same as this part of the river over here. It's entirely cramped with zones. Awesome for moose, elk, and blacktail. And then we got another spot that for some reason is not famous, but is the best place to hunt coyotes. Over here. This area. Best spot to hunt coyotes and the best place to get a big dog on the entire game. I really recommend you to go there more often. The spot number 8 is found on the beautiful Siberian map on Medved Taiga. It is this area down here, on the Mamontova Tundra or Memo Tundra. It includes all these lakes like this hidden lake, also this big lake right here. There's also another hidden lake up here, and this lake right here is not as good, but still. This region is overall really good. I mean, it has a lot of reindeer, a really decent amount of moose deer, a lot of wild boar, moose, and a high amount of brown bear and lynx, but mainly females. It is a really good spot to get diamonds on this reserve, but still there are many more locations that are also great. If you wanna learn more about Medved Taiga, I recommend you to watch my Medved Taiga guide. Okay, the spot number 9 is located on the Aguaroa National Park. This one is a very popular lake, which is especially good to hunt feral pig and fallow deer. If you come here at either drink time, you'll see several potential targets and also several potential money bags, because you can place a tent and a tripod exactly at the middle of the lake, and that will let you shoot everything around the lake over and over because animals keep respawning. You can also place a tent next to each zone around the lake and you'll be able to harvest everything as quickly as possible. So I mean, you can essentially turn this spot into a money farm. Also here on the Aguaroa there are a few more spots that I would really recommend you to visit. For example, this part of the river right here is great for sika and red deer. All this area. Also over here this lake is fantastic for these two species. Then we got this awesome little lake for chamois, as well as these two over here. Then I also have to mention this lake, which is overall the best one for red deer. Now the last spot is located on Hirschfelden, and I have to say that this spot is maybe not as good as other spots that didn't make it on this list. I mean, there are other spots on other maps that perhaps have more animals, but I mean Hirschfelden is, I'm gonna call it a high value map. And the reason for this is that each trophy here takes a lot more effort to get than on the average map. Only the geese could be considered easy, while on other reserves like, for example, Silver Ridge Peaks or Cuatro Colinas, everything is easy to get. I mean, getting a diamond red deer on Hirschfelden is a bigger achievement than getting one on Cuatro Colinas, even though they look the same on the lodge. So, if the trophies have a higher value, the hotspots too. That's why I think this area over here cannot be left out of the list. This whole region is awesome to hunt red deer, red fox, European bison, roe deer, wild boar. Also it's water way down here. Here you can also find fallow deer. I've gotten 2 diamond stacks on this region, also multiple bulls, I think also a roe deer, and a max score red fox. It's a really good spot overall. Well, if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to the channel, that really helps a lot. With that said, thanks for watching and see you next time.